Killer Sports. This is 5 things that we learned against Burnley yesterday. We looked at this game and we appreciated so many things about this game. Might I say, we definitely caught a vibe. We caught a vibe. The game was enjoyable to watch. It was free-flowing. We controlled the game. But it's against Burnley. And Burnley were going to hit us on a counter regardless of what system we were playing. And today, one of the things that I appreciated was that Fletcher tried to bring United's DNA back on. Free-flowing football with wingers staying wide, allowing the ball to come in crosses into our number 9. We had all those things in this game, and that is what we are going to talk about. We are also going to talk about Bruno Fernandes coming back into the game and starting, how he changes the potency of our front line, of our attack. He creates for us in every way, shape, or form. That's what we are going to talk about. So this is 5 things that we learned watching Manchester United face against Burnley at Turf Moor. So first things first, we have to start with Benjamin Blase Sesko. Benjamin Fly High Sesko. Or Benjamin Airman Sesko. Whichever way you guys want to call him. Yesterday wasn't about volume for Sesko. It wasn't. It was about instinct. And that is what we have been crying out for Benjamin Sesko the whole time he has been here. Instincts, play on instincts. Play on instincts. You got this in your locker. We saw it in the Bundesliga. We saw it in the Red Blue Group or whatever, the RB Leipzig. And we know he got it. The question is, we just want him to show us. And today, or yesterday against Burnley, he absolutely showed us that. He showed us that. Sesko showed us exactly why United invested in him. You're looking at constant runs from back to forward, across the back defensive line. It was running. The defenders just did not know where he was. And to even compound that fact, the second goal that he scored was one of the best runs that I've seen from a striker in the top 6 this season. That was one of the best runs. That's Erling Haaland kind of run. You fade to the right-hand side. Once the defender is looking at you on the right-hand side, over his shoulders, you fake to the left. And before he can recover, you're in front of him. That is what we saw from Benjamin Sesko yesterday for that second goal. Attacking the near post aggressively. Same thing with the second goal. Same thing with the first. Because he attacked the first post. The front post. The near post, whichever one you want to call it. He attacked it for the second goal. He attacked it for the first goal. First goal, he pointed his hand, put it right there. And Bruno Fernandes always gets the temperature or the weight of the ball right. Where he only had to hit that ball one time in order for him to dispatch it easy. He cleared that ball crystal clear, easy time, in the back of the net, perfectly sound. That is what we are talking about for Benjamin Sesko. That right there is Benjamin Sesko at his best. Finishing with minimal backlift. That right there is Benjamin Sesko at his best. That is what we are talking about here. That is right there a striker that would absolutely dominate a team when we need him to. That's what we need. And those are the key parts about being a striker. Occupying the centre backs when even he did not touch the ball. We need somebody that would absolutely understand where he needs to be, understands where he needs to stand, and understand how to occupy centre-backs in order to give the number 10 more opportunities to rigmarole. In order for you to give the full-backs an opportunity to be one-on-one. That is what we are talking about in this situation. This wasn't a striker waiting for service anymore. It wasn't. He was a striker creating problems through movement alone. He was moving left and right. And that created so much of an opportunity. I'm not even talking about the headers that he gets. We need to absolutely make that part of his game. In fact, that is honestly his best attribute. Balls in the air. Nobody does it better than him. There was a time Sesko jumped and he feels like his legs were almost to the face of the Burnley defender. So what is the big takeaway about Benjamin Sesko arriving? Yesterday, he gave us a glimpse of who Sesko can be at Manchester United. A striker who runs fast. A striker who finishes. A striker who understands how to break down defenses. And all those things are part of his instincts. And that is the key part about this situation. Now, the second one is Bruno Fernandes instantly changes the attack. The moment Bruno Fernandes was involved, one thing became obvious. There was intent. For Manchester United, he played the ball forward quicker. He took more risk earlier, delivered early crosses to Benjamin Sesko. We all saw that Dubravka had to make a world-class save to keep Benjamin Sesko out in the first half. And that alone matters. It matters when you have a 6'5" aerial presence like Sesko attacking the box. Bruno didn't just sit back when it comes to creativity. He added it. He added belief in crossing situations. And that was absolutely oozing throughout the team. You started seeing Diego Dalot trying to cross. You also saw Patrick Dogu get an assist via crossing early. Patrick Dogu took on his player, beat his player, created about a half a chance, crossed the ball perfectly to the runs of Benjamin Sesko. And the moment Benjamin Sesko gets the ball, opens his body up, uses his right foot and placed it into the back of the net. That right there all starts from Bruno Fernandes, bringing an understanding into the game, bringing a knowledge into the game, bringing a full-fledged intent of getting Benjamin Sesko the ball. So one of the biggest takeaway in this particular one here, in this point, was that with Bruno, United stop hesitating to cross the ball and start trusting their striker to finish. That is what we need to start doing. We have already seen when it comes to Sir Alex telling people, get the ball to RVP, get the ball to Robin Van Persie, and he would win us the league. Now is get the ball to Benjamin Sesko, and he will win us the point. And that right there is the reason why Bruno Fernandes is absolutely so important to Manchester United. We absolutely need to find a way to keep Bruno. And I know it's going to be tough, especially now that Ruben Amorim has left. His Portuguese counterpart or his Portuguese colleague has left. Hopefully, we'll find a way to tie Bruno down and get Bruno to play for Manchester United for more years to come. So third thing that we learned in this particular game was that the midfield is still a core problem. It's still a core problem for us. This remains a huge structural issue for Manchester United. United need a midfield that can sustain longer attacking phases, win the second balls, and still protect us against transitions. It's key. It's absolutely key for us. Today we saw the way Edwards was running Casemiro and Ugarte ragged. He was dribbling them. Their legs were not quick enough to go in there. Their legs were not fast enough to stop him when he gets his shoulder in front of them. Those things were absolutely paramount to the way Burnley were attacking us. And if we are able to stop it, Carlos Baleba, if we are able to bring a player that will be able to physically outmatch, outdo, out-tackle their midfield, we all of a sudden become 1,000 times better in terms of football. We become 1,000 times better, and that is why we absolutely need somebody in January transfer window. I truly believe, and I know that it's going to be tough, especially because that was the reason why Ruben Amorim was fired. But we need something. We need something in the January transfer window, especially in our midfield. It's paramount that we do. Because when we get that, I truly believe that we absolutely become a Champions League spot. We become a Champions League team. And that's what we need. Yesterday, a good spell came with a warning in my mind. One lost due, one broken pass, and Burnley were running at our back line in a worst way that we could. Until United can build a robust, athletic midfield, attacking progress will always come with defensive risk. And when we are able to balance those two things, then we would absolutely say we are ready to challenge for titles. That is absolutely clear in my mind. Anyway, let's go into the fourth one. 10:30. Manchester United, in the fourth thing that we learnt in this game, is still putting square pegs in round holes, and that hurts our balance. It truly hurts our balance. This was a step-up issue, not an effort one, to be honest. The two left-footed centre-backs disrupted a build-up balance. We know that for a fact. On the left-hand side, we had Martinez. On the right-hand side, we had Aiden Heaven. And don't get me wrong, Aiden Heaven is a talent. Martinez is even better of a talent. But what we say is that putting both of them in a situation like this might be too difficult. It might be difficult because every single time that the ball went to Aiden Heaven, it was a trigger for us, for Burnley to press us. And they caught him so much. Don't get me wrong, Aiden Heaven was still trying to figure out how to do this. But the passing angle from Martinez to a left-footed Aiden Heaven is always going to show Aiden Heaven to his left-hand side. And if you can catch the pressure in order for him not to turn to his right, that means you're coming from where the pressure was already. And that right there is a problem. That right there is a trap waiting to be capitalized on. So the passing lanes became predictable. It became predictable, and it was a problem for us to absolutely decide that this is the way we want to go. And then you have to also look, Burnley targeted those triggers. Once the ball went to Aiden Heaven, they were on top of it. On top of that, Patrick Dogu struggled to stretch the pitch on the left-hand side. Without the width, United's first half possession was it became compact and easier to defend. And in a low block that is waiting for you to play in front of them, they would love that every way, every time, and every single moment. So the biggest takeaway in that particular point, in my mind, is that balance matters. Opponents will always hurt and always hunt for structural weaknesses, especially in the build-up. And if we know that, Darren Fletcher has to figure it out. And if the person, don't get me wrong, we are going to be facing Brighton next. Brighton just defeated, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe drew with Manchester City. They are so good at stopping those runs. They are so good at spotting structural weakness. They are so good at stopping build-up from the back. And if we want to win that game and go on to the next round of the FA Cup, we absolutely need to fix this. That might mean Harry Maguire comes back. That might mean Matthijs de Ligt comes back into this team. Just so we'll be able to get a right-footed defender. I think Matthijs de Ligt will be the perfect man for this because Harry Maguire loves to play on the left-hand side too. But we need balance. We need balance in our defense. We need balance in our attack. If you're putting a left-footed winger on that left foot, on that left wing, make sure that he's able to stay wide. Make sure that he's disciplined enough to know and trust his players to get him the ball without him coming inwards. Those are key things that we need to do. And when we do that, we absolutely have an opportunity to stretch the pitch, dominate, and get our wingers 1v1 to punish the opposition. That is absolutely clear in my mind. And that is something that we absolutely need to conquer before the Brighton game. So last but not the least, the fifth thing that we learnt after playing Burnley yesterday. Shea Lacey embodies the academy edge. He is 18 years of age. Shea Lacey played like someone who wanted to decide the game. And that right there only comes from courage and sometimes delusional confidence that you are that guy. But the funny thing about it is the dude is that guy. He reminds me so much of Phil Foden, the left foot, the shot, the ability to shoot from 30 yards and make the ball travel in a way that you are absolutely gobsmacked. You are talking about inches from the second strike that he took from going in the back of the net. And the first strike, inches below the post, and we are talking about one of the best goals in the season. That right there is Aiden Heaven. He is a direct running winger. No fear when it comes to 1v1 because he has the talent. Immediate vertical intent. That was the clear thing that I saw when it comes to Shea Lacey. The mindset was courageous. And this is not just for the academy players. It's for the entire squad. He needs, and he is definitely putting in what I feel is going to be so contagious for the rest of the squad. And that is what we want in our academy players. Giving every single person a kick on the backside to say, hey guys, if you are not going to take this serious, move away because I'm here to stay. That is what we want. And I believe he's going to get an opportunity against Brighton. Based on what we have seen, based on the fact that we do not have the wingers, Bryan Mbeumo is not in the team right now. Ahmad is not back yet. Shea Lacey, to me, starts against Brighton. He starts against Brighton. And then we move Cunha to that left wing position. To me, that's what I think we should do. But the takeaway about this Shea Lacey situation is that Shea Lacey doesn't need more protecting. He just needs minutes. He is that good right now. He just needs minutes. Of course, we are still going to protect him. But taking him out of the first team squad at this point is not protecting anymore. We need to understand that his body breaks down. But we need to also know that his body is going through a transition in where he's getting bigger. He's getting stronger. And that should be the only concern in us protecting him. And not whether he can play the first team football. Because we have seen that he can. His intent raises the temperature for the whole team. And we need to allow him to do that. You understand? We need to allow him to do that. Yesterday wasn't about excuses or outrage for me. It was about the signs that we saw. Sesko's instinct, Bruno's influence, the midfield gap, the structural imbalance, and an academy kid reminding everyone what courage looks like. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment. Make sure you guys hit that button, hit that follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.